Good evening. I'm Tim, and tonight I'm going to talk about a little thing called Moab. If you enjoy any type of outdoors, whether it be hiking, biking, mountain climbing, off roading, you're going to enjoy Moab. Here recently, myself, some of my friends, we took a road trip up to Moab, Utah. And so tonight we're going to talk a little bit about the beautiful, beautiful scenery you'll see up there in Moab, some of the fine dining experiences you can have, and of course the main reason everybody goes to Moab, for the trails. So to begin with, let's talk about all this amazing scenery that you're going to see while you're up there. Well, the first thing I noticed was while you're standing in the city of Moab, you can look in any direction and see snow-covered mountain caps. But here you are in the middle of the afternoon standing in blue jeans and a t-shirt. It's amazing. I'd never seen anything like that in my life. Next, you're going to see the Colorado River and lakes everywhere. It's crazy. You have the Colorado River flows directly to the west of Moab, Utah. So sometimes when the traffic's real light, you can hear it come through, and sometimes you can't. It just depends on how lucky you get to be. Then, what I thought was the craziest thing I'd ever seen in my life was the trees and vegetation. Never in my life had I ever seen a tree growing out of a rock face. I just thought this was the most amazing thing ever. But right there in Moab, you're going to see trees growing out of a rock face. So now that we've spent some time talking about all the scenery and the lakes and the trees and everything that you're going to see up there in Moab, we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about eating. Everybody loves eating. It's great. You have to do it. And Moab, it can be, I guess the word is difficult to not necessarily eat, but to find places to eat. If you get to Moab in what they call their off season, meaning the winter and early spring, whenever the weather's still kind of cold, a lot of the businesses up there are still not open all the time. And the ones that are open mostly have limited hours of operation, and it's really difficult to find somewhere to eat. But when you do find somewhere to eat, you're going to find restaurants of every sort. Fine dining Italian, all the way down through a little ma pa diner. There's something for everybody. The only real downside to it is everything in the restaurants is very, very expensive. For a typical three-person dinner, you can expect to pay a minimum of $65 to $70 for three people to eat, and that doesn't include drinks or alcohol. But now this may be a little bit different if you get a little bit further off of Main Street, because everywhere we ate while we were up there was right off of Main Street. So maybe if you get a little bit further into town, you may be able to find something a little bit cheaper. So now that your belly's all full, you've looked at the mountains, now let's get to the real reason why everybody goes to Moab. The trails. There's every type of trail you can imagine up there. There's mountain biking trails, there's hiking trails, there's walking trails, there's scenic off-roading trails, and my personal favorite, the hardcore off-roading trails. Obviously I didn't go up there for the walking, the hiking, or the mountain biking. I did talk to some of the hikers up there, and they said that Moab has some of the best hiking trails you can find, especially if you enjoy the higher altitudes and looking at all the scenery and everything, as I discussed earlier. While I was up there, we did a breadth of different types of trails. One of the scenic trails we did was a trail called Hajo Canyon. This trail was by far not in any remotely way a hardcore trail. A decently built two-wheel drive truck can do this truck with no problems whatsoever. But it does, however, have a lot of scenery. You, from the top of the trail to the bottom of the trail, you descend almost 2,000 feet. So, in the 2,000 feet, there's a lot of scenery. But for the hardcore enthusiast of us in the room, we did Pritchett Canyon. And this trail was amazing. The first real hardcore obstacle you come to in the trail is called Chewy Hill. And there's 2 anchor points, or winching points, if you will, on this obstacle for a good reason. One of our guys who was on the trail with us had to use both winch points at 2 separate times just to make it up the obstacle. Then, in a group behind our group, we had another Jeep that rolled over onto its side because he picked a bad line and he gave it too much gas. A little on further down the trail, you come to Rocker Knocker. And this is a crazy obstacle. You have to get your Jeep almost completely on its side and ride down a ridge line to make it up this obstacle by pivoting off of a rock that's going to give you some pretty good body damage on your rocker panel. And the bypass for this is almost just as difficult as the main obstacle itself. Unfortunately, we did have a guy who destroyed a motor mount going up Rocker Knocker, so we had to turn around and weren't able to finish up the trail. So, like I said, you can do everything from a scenic trail like Hey Joe's Canyon to a hardcore. You need big tires, lockers, and a winch to get anywhere near it. So, tonight we've discussed getting up to Moab, seeing the beautiful scenery up there, the good food you're going to eat at a cost, and the trails. So, let me just say, I hope everybody who enjoys the outdoors and enjoys being with their family and enjoying doing things outside, at any point in your life, you need to make it a point to go to Moab and enjoy what the city has to offer you.